Morning, 8:38. It is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle, but this morning, Menji's here.
Hi.
So, Menji's gonna hang out. And that's cool. We love Menji. Let's go to the roads because I have better news this morning. We had a SIG early, 4 o'clock hour, southbound side of the 5 at the 14, and it just wrecked our ride completely for hours. And we're now, just now, at 8:39, starting to see some recovery. So the southbound side of the 5 doesn't really get heavy until the 14 freeway now, and you'll see that little blip until the 210. Southbound 14 is heavy from Via Princesa, kind of on and off all the way to the 5 because of alternate traffic delays. We had a lot of people trying to scoot over to the 14 to get around that 5 problem, and so now we have to recover from that as well. But it looks very, very promising. So if you can hold on maybe another 20 minutes, you should be in good shape. All right, let's talk about weather. It should be a nice day today. We are looking at mostly sunny skies. It's not going to be super, super hot. It's going to be nice hot. 86 degrees for our high. Overnight lows in the 50s. Currently 66 fair right here in Newhall.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Well, like I said, Menji is in the house, and we have been talking about some really important issues like flavored potato chips and Doritos, extremely important issues.
Yeah, we went over graham crackers yesterday, too. The history of graham crackers.
Yeah, I mean, we hit the stuff that needs to be hit, Menji. You and I talk about what needs to happen.
Only the hard-hitting stuff.
And now we are faced with talking to someone who is so above us.
I'm a little intimidated, to be honest.
In the intelligence category, I don't even know where to start with this. Please welcome Dr. Tai-Danae Bradley from the Masters University. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We looked at your bio and kind of then looked at each other and said, okay, now what? Because you are, to say you're a mathematician is like so elementary. It's like, no.
No, we got to put some respect on that name.
I mean, you have a PhD in mathematics, and I don't even know what that entails. Please, let's just start basic. How do you even get a doctorate in math? Like, what? How? What?
Yeah, so I really resonate with that question. I will say, when I was younger, being a mathematician was not on my list of things to do in life. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could do. So one thing I will say is that math is a lot more than just numbers. And so as a mathematician, really what I do in my career is I discover new mathematics and I write about it. So what does it mean to discover new math? I mean, it's not too hard when you think about it. I mean, we're surrounded by all of this technology. We live in an amazing world that has weather that you were just describing. I mean, all of these things can be modeled by a language that's more efficient than just English, and that language is mathematics. So it's really a quite very rich subject.
I just listening to her right now, I think
talking.
my IQ points went up.
I know.
That's all I can say. I think it went up a couple of points. But go ahead, Menji. What do you say to that?
You know, math has been one of my worst subjects, so that's why I'm a little intimidated. But are you, I guess, of that belief then that math was discovered, or rather, was it created?
That's a great question. So I definitely feel as a mathematician that I am discovering something that's kind of there. I mean, when you think about why are we not falling through our chairs? It's because they're made up of atoms, and those are made up of smaller particles, and like, how do they stick together? What are the forces behind all of that? That's mathematics. Did I create that? No, I'm just kind of a wonderful recipient to that interesting mathematics and physics there too.
Interesting. Okay, so then I see your face over there, Tori.
I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just scared to.
Hey, we're going into uncharted territory for us, and you know, new stuff is scary sometimes, but it can also be super exciting.
Absolutely.
So one of your interests is quantum physics.
Yes.
That in itself, just on its title, could be super just intimidating, mind-boggling. just on the surface level, what is quantum physics?
Yeah.
Talk to Menji like we're 5, and quite honestly, we are probably around that. So talk to us. So what is quantum physics?
Okay, well, physics is really the study of like how things move and matter and how it interacts. But it turns out that if you go at a level that's smaller than the eye can see, I mean, I was just making reference to the chairs that we're sitting in, and I said something about molecules, but then if you go one level down, that's atoms. But you can go one level down still. So an atom, has these electrons around it and these things called protons and neutrons. Do you remember this from like high school or something?
Yeah, it's ringing
Just
a bell.
say yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes,
Yeah.
Menji. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So it turns out that the physics or the laws of nature that operate at this subatomic level are actually very different than the ones that we're familiar with on a day-to-day basis. How different? I mean, that's like another conversation
Yeah, we
for
won't get
another
into that
day.
one, yeah.
But that's what quantum physics is referring to. Why is it called quantum? That kind of gets into some particulars. But it's really referring to how the world works that we live in at this subatomic level.
Oh man.
And just to think, 10 minutes ago we were talking about chips.
I know.
This is, Dr. Tai-Danae Bradley is who we're speaking with right now from the Masters University. What is it that when we come into your classroom, is this a flavor, like just a taste of what we could get from you and your class at the Masters University?
Yeah, so I tried to make it conceptual and engaging. As I mentioned earlier, I did not think that I would be a mathematician when I grew up, when I was a younger child. So I am very familiar with this idea that math, I don't know about you all, but I used to think math is like hieroglyphics and just these, the art of symbol pushing and multiplying big numbers in your head. And it's so much more than that. To be really honest, I am not that good at arithmetic. So when I learned that math was more than arithmetic, that's when I really got excited. So in the classroom, I do try to convey that because I kind of remember what it was like to feel like, oh, this isn't for me, this is super boring. And so I do try to make it more engaging and to connect it to things we see in the world.
You seem to have a very good, you're smiley and bright, the attitude and the just, who you are.
One of the things that I really like is just you speaking.
Yeah.
I can tell that there is a passion
Mm-hmm.
right
Oh,
there
yeah.
for mathematics, for that.
Definitely.
I want to get into this machine intelligence.
Yeah.
It's another one of your research interests.
Yes.
And it can be a very expansive one. Is that similar to like AI or totally different?
No, it is not totally different. And in fact, have you all heard of ChatGPT? I'm sure you've heard.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Should I'm just
Ju-
going to nod.
just
Yes.
don't.
Menji, do you want to fill us in maybe?
So GPT is just like a little chat box. You type a prompt, whether that's a question or an action, and it spits out a response to you that sounds relatively human.
Right. So you could ask ChatGPT, like, hey, I have some ingredients in my refrigerator. Like, can you tell me what I can make for dinner out of this? And it'll give you like a nice recipe and describe it in a way that's very much like your friend wrote it.
I need one of those.
You know,
where do
it's-
I
it's so-
get one of those?
This is now a commercial for ChatGPT. So it's really available online. It's made by a company called OpenAI.
Okay.
But to get to your question, though, about how does that relate? So it turns out you can ask, why does this work? Okay, how can this machine or this computer program generate coherent strings of text that is very human-like? Okay, how does that work? Because it's a computer. You can't tell a computer, hey, computer, this is a coffee mug. It has coffee, which is a hot liquid. You don't want to put that in your recipe for like chicken Florentine or whatever. Like, it knows all of these things. How? So if you actually kind of look under the hood, there's a lot of technical software engineering and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a very interesting math question. Because what it suggests is that there is structure in language. When we're talking, certain words go together and other words don't go together. If I wake up and say, hey, Menji, I had a great blue idea. That's not a thing that we say, right?
No.
Even though it's grammatically correct, blue is an adjective, idea is a noun, what's stopping us from putting it together? Well, there's a very low probability of someone saying that. If
Got
we
it.
look at all of the sentences every human being has ever spoken, how many of them said, I had a blue idea? a very small number. It's a very low probability. So what ChatGPT is doing is kind of estimating the probabilities that if I say recipe, then what is going to follow are food items and so forth. So probability, structure, which words go together. This is actually hinting at algebra. In algebra, we take two numbers and multiply them or add them. In the English language, we take two words and concatenate them or stick them together. So you have algebraic structure and you have probabilities. That's in language that we're speaking for, our entire lives. And something interesting is going on inside of ChatGPT. So as a mathematician, this is one of the research projects I've been working on for a couple of years.
That is absolutely incredible. I wish I had you as a teacher back in school because I'm like engaged in this now.
It's totally, that's a point that I was going to bring up, because before you got here, I could have been interested. I couldn't be less interested.
Yeah.
And I was intimidated. And then you sat down and you have this smile and this personality and your passion for this. And you actually engaged people who were just talking about flavored chips 10 minutes ago. And so
I like chips, for the record.
So that's amazing. It speaks volumes. It really does. We're talking to Dr. Tai-Danae Bradley, who has a PhD in math at the Masters University. How many different classes do you teach?
So this past semester I taught Calculus 1. Prior to that, we have a Math Senior Seminar course. So this is really fun. We have a lot of flexibility with this. I taught it 2 semesters in a row. We took 2 graduate level math courses. Okay, like geometry, algebra, but there are things way beyond that. I took 2 of those courses and kind of had a learning seminar where the students would go and read on their own. And then, one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it to others. And so I had the students say, okay, you go and read this, learn what you can, do some research online, get a feel for what it's like to do mathematics outside of the textbook structure, learn some things, and then see if you can distill those ideas and present them to your classmates in a way that's understandable. Don't just kind of read the book, but internalize the ideas and see if you can recast them in a way that's accessible to those hearing it for the first time. So that's something that we had fun doing.
Dr. Tai-Danae Bradley from the Masters University. Unfortunately, our time went by like that.
Oh, man.
I cannot believe it. I know we still probably. I know Menji still has questions.
Yeah, I do. I just learned that I'm a walking math problem.
So you're not wrong. What I'm walking away with is that when we were young, when we were in high school, and we asked the teacher the biggest question, I don't know if you did it, Menji, I think you did, was why are we in algebra class right now? When are we ever gonna use this in life? And now you just answered it. You answered it so many different ways, and it's so enlightening, and the passion is there, and it's so exciting. So thank you for being with us. If we want to get more information on the math department, where do we go?
Yeah, so you can go to masters.edu. That's the or you can find the mathematics department that way. You can find more about what I do also at the Masters University by going to mathema.institute, math3ma.institute. And we didn't get to this, but that's a new research hub that we have at the Institute where we're looking into things like mathematics, but also computer science, engineering, and all across the STEM board. So you can find out more there.
Oh, that's what we call a tease.
No, please come back. It's a tease for another invitation. Please come back. We have had so much fun with you this morning because not only have we've teased you, but we've also seen the passion and we've gotten excited as well. And that's what it's all about. Getting students excited about different avenues that they didn't think that maybe they were interested in.
Exactly.
And now they can be. At the Masters University, go online, find out what you can do with this program. Dr. Tai-Danae Bradley, thank you so much for being here. We've had a blast with you.
Thank you. This was fun.